Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan, and I have a bit of a casual, different video today. So, patch 7 hit Dota a couple of days ago, and I've been messing around with Monkey King, having some fun with him, and there's a couple of things I've just noticed just from playing the hero in games and messing around with him in demo mode that I want to share with you guys, because there are some interesting interactions that a lot of people don't really know about, and things like that. So I'm just going to show some of my findings that I found in this video to hopefully help you guys have a better understanding when you play the hero. So first thing I want to show you guys is Echo Sabre and how that works with the hero. So Echo Sabre, I've built it like pretty much every game I've played Monkey King, and I've completely owned with him every time. I'm pretty sure Echo Sabre is like the best item to get on him right now, and there's a couple reasons why. So first things first, so we'll spawn an enemy and I'll show you guys. So most of these interactions that I'm going to be showing you guys are to do with Vandal Strike here, and there's a couple things to do with Wukong's command as well. So to kick things off, we have an enemy here. If we use Boundless Strike on him, we can see he gets the Echo Sabre debuff on him. Now this doesn't really matter because at minimum level he's stunned for 0.5 seconds and the slow duration is 0.6 seconds, so he's only debuffed for 0.1 seconds. So that doesn't really, matter too much. But there is a really interesting thing with his ulti. So we'll level up the enemy a bit so he doesn't die straight away. And so there's a lot of interactions like this that you'll see with the ult. So you ulti, and then you'll notice as he's running through, he's getting constantly hit and slowed. And I just realized I had my hero selected as well there. So I'll just quickly show you guys again what I'm talking about there. So basically your ult summons a bunch of clones of your hero. So the ult just says that it like copies the damage that you have, but it doesn't actually say that. It basically creates a copy of your hero. So if I were to ulti again and only have the axe selected this time, you can see the debuff keeps getting refreshed when a new clone hits him. So basically if you ulti someone and they're in the middle, they're going to be constantly slowed as they run towards the outside. Another thing to note is if you have an enemy and you Boundless Strike them and it procs the Echo Sabre on them, your Echo Sabre doesn't go on cooldown, so you can still run up to them and then smack them a couple times. So Echo Sabre is the first thing I wanted to show you. Mostly just working with your ulti, plus it's really good with your passive as well. So basically if you use it you can slow someone like the entire duration of your ulti, which is pretty nuts. It also, we'll just check, I think it also makes your clones hit twice as well because of the passive, so we'll just see how that works out. Yeah, so it doesn't make your clones hit twice, so they're still bound by like the 2-second interval, but when they do hit, it does apply the Echo Sabre onto the enemy. Okay, so Echo Sabre was the first thing. Next thing I wanted to show you, we'll just go down the list of items as I see some items that have some interesting interactions. Okay, so next up was Basher. So Basher does stack with Boundless Strike. So if I smack this guy, you can see that he wasn't bashed there, wasn't bashed that time either, or that time. Interesting. This guy just doesn't want to get bashed. Alright, so we'll try again. I actually don't want to spawn as many people. Actually maybe I did. Okay, so this is generally the easiest way to do it. So we have a bunch of enemies if I Boundless Strike them, you'll see that one of them does get stunned for longer. Oh well, they don't actually get stunned for longer. If you have less levels in Boundless Strike, so if you have level 1 or 2 Boundless Strike and you have a basher, then they can get bashed. Only one enemy will get bashed. So if I Boundless Strike like 10 dudes, it puts basher on cooldown if it stuns one of them, and it only stuns one of them, so it doesn't stun the whole group of them. So if you have level 1 or 2 Boundless Strike, instead of someone getting stunned for 0.5 or 1 second, they have the chance from the basher of getting stunned by 1.4 seconds. So it's honestly, basher's, you know, not the greatest item on the hero because of that, but your clones as well, they should get the, yeah, so they get the ability to bash it as well, which is pretty cool. But overall, I think basher isn't the best item on the hero in general. Obviously, you know, if you need the lockdown from the Abyssal, it can be good. But that's the interactions with basher. So next up, I have Salvage. So if you're invis and you Boundless Strike, it doesn't do anything because you're, you know, using a spell to break the invis, so it doesn't apply the debuff or anything. However, because your ulti has a long animation instead of being channeled, what you can do if you want to get a really nice initiation is go invis, and then you can do the whole really long animation of your ulti without the enemy seeing you, and then sort of surprise them out of nowhere, and then, you know, stun them all for 2 seconds, and then all of that fun stuff. So Salvage or Shadow Blade can be really good for ganking or, you know, setting up some really good ultis, because look how long this animation is. Like, it'll be pretty easy for the enemy to cancel that. Okay, so next thing we can test while we have a big group of dudes here is Mjolnir. So we'll just level up everyone a bunch, or get a couple more dudes, level them up. Okay, so if we have a big group of enemies, and then we Boundless Strike with a this works with Maelstrom as well. It does proc the lightning, or, you know, it has a chance to proc the lightning. So that can be really good against illusions and all that sort of thing. So one thing I did find was, because unlike basher, the lightning effect from Mjolnir doesn't have a cooldown. So basically, every single hit, no matter what, it has a chance of proccing the lightning. So what that means is when there's a huge group of enemies like this, basically every one of these guys has a chance of proccing the lightning. So if I hit on all of them, then I get more lightning procs. Whereas if I, say, come over here, and I only have, like, you know, 4 dudes, then I have less chance of proccing the lightning, and so it does less damage overall to the whole group. So against like a PL or anyone with like a huge amount of illusions or units, Maelstrom or Mjolnir, you know, can get some great value, just because, you know, you can, if they have like, you know, 20 units, you can potentially proc the lightning 20 times, allowing you to clear a large group really easily. So also another thing with your ulti again, they get the lightning strike passive as well. So that's that. Next on the list we have Diffusal Blade. So if you've been paying attention so far, you've probably guessed what's going to happen. So he's full mana, Boundless Strike, his mana gets burned. You know, simple as that. I ulti, his mana gets burned on the hit. So, you know, Diffusal Blade can be good. You know, obviously the active is good. You know, you ulti, diffusal them, they can't move anywhere, basically, easy kill. So that's pretty good as well. From the testing I've done, Battle Fury doesn't seem to work with Boundless Strike. So, you know, that's not an option, but it does work with your ult. So I'll try and show you there with that, I guess. So we'll get a bunch of enemies. So the way Monkey King's ult works, it always summons a set amount of clones, and so there won't be enough clones to attack all of these guys at once. So if I just ulti, see there's only 4 here, and you can see that the cleave is going through and sort of owning those guys. But overall, I think Maelstrom is definitely the item to get on this hero. Alright, so the next item is Skadi. So, you know, you can probably guess what's going to happen here. Pretty much the same as everything else. So if I Vandal Strike, he's going to have the Skadi debuff on him afterwards, and then if I ulti, you know, same thing's going to happen. Yeah, so they apply the Skadi effect as well. Simple stuff. Any form of lifesteal works. So any form of lifesteal works with Boundless Strike as well. Your ulti, you know, doesn't affect that. Another thing is with Desolator. So the easiest way to test this, I think, is to just leave and then come in fresh at a lower level. So we'll load back in. Okay. So now with the Desolator, it does work like it does with the normal hit. So basically it applies the Desolator effect before the hit occurs, so the armor reduction from the Desolator does indeed make you do more damage. So Desolator does 50 damage. So as you can see, down to like 430 health there. So then if we get another equivalent 50 damage from a Silver Edge and 2 ulti orbs, that's another 50 damage, and then we compare it to this guy. So he only went down to 490. So there's like a 60 damage difference there, just between Desolator and, you know, any other 50 damage. So Deso does work like that, which is good. You know, can be a good item against those tanky heroes, but I still think Echo Sabre is definitely the way to go. So if you get items such as a Daedalus, and you spawn a bunch of enemies, and then you level up to max again, and then you ult, then these monkeys, your clones are going to be able to crit as well, as you see here. So basically these things are illusions on steroids. That's the best way to put them, I think. So that's basically all the interactions I've managed to find so far. That's pretty much every sort of like on-hit effect or UAM sort of thing in the game. So, you know, Sanjin Yasha, same thing's going to happen again. If I Boundless Strike the guy, he's going to get maimed. You know, as expected. If I ulti, the same thing's going to happen again. Another thing that I wanted to note is when you're using your tree dance, so when you're on top of a tree, if you use your ult, while you're channeling you're up in the tree, but while you're casting the spell you're up in the tree, but when it finishes casting, it drops you down out of the tree. It doesn't stun you, but it drops you down out of the tree. Another thing is when you're up on a tree you can use Boundless Strike and it doesn't drop you down. So, you know, you can jump up onto a tree, get some vision of someone, and just smack them out of nowhere. Another important thing is if you're on the treetop and you want to use Primal Spring, and you're aiming and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to use this ability anymore, and you go to right click to cancel your aiming, it registers as a click and then it drops you out of the tree. So the best thing to do is, you know, if you want to cancel it, just don't click. Basically the best way to do it, and just straight up do your next command. So if I decide, oh, I want to Boundless Strike, I'll just press Q instead and aim that. So don't right click to cancel your aiming because it drops you out of the tree. And one last thing before I end the video is that the range on Boundless Strike is actually larger than what it shows you. So if I stand all the way over here, you can see, even further back here I think. So as you can see, he's out of the range of Boundless Strike, but if we hit like right there, it's still quite not in range, but if we move up slightly, the axe is still out of range, so that doesn't hit him still. Okay, so he's right on the edge here, slightly out, and you can see that hit him. So if someone's just outside of the range, like around here, slightly out, you can still sometimes hit them, so just right on the tip there. So that's pretty much it for this video. Lessons to take away, you know, on hit effects and that sort of thing apply on Boundless Strike. And with your ult, Echo Sabre is really broken on this hero. I'd recommend buying it. And there's actually one last thing that I haven't tested yet that I do want to test, is with an item like an Assault Cuirass. If I ult, why did I spawn so many enemies? If I ult, does it apply the aura? That's actually one thing I haven't tested yet, so I'll test that real quick, and if that works, I assume the same thing happens with Shivas actually. So they do get the minus armor aura, unless I was too close. So we'll quickly try that again. I'll blink away. Oh, actually I just realized, you have to stay inside your ult for that to work anyway, because as soon as you leave, your ult cancels. So if you have the item, they're probably going to be in range for it anyway. So that's basically all I wanted to show you guys. You know, hopefully it helps you decide on some item builds for the hero maybe. You know, clears some things up, you know, helps you feel more confident when playing the hero. So, you know, let me know if you guys like this video. I can maybe do some more for other heroes and interactions that people don't really know about. There are a couple interactions like that with Slark, so that I know of, so I could, you know, make a video on that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Leave some feedback. I definitely appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.